Morning, folks. Matt here with Rango-Jack Leader and Lure Company. I'm gonna it's gonna be a real quick video here this morning. Getting hot out here, so I'm not gonna spend a lot of time. But I just want to talk real quick about frogs, plastic frogs, rubber, plastic, whatever you want to call them, soft plastic. These are good little lures this time of year. You're coming into, warmer water, 77 degrees here, and the largemouth bass, they're really going crazy over these things. I suppose it's a staple of their diet in most places, but particularly in like ponds and smaller lakes and stuff around. You can do real good with these. I've been making these for a while. This is a 2 3/4 inch. Now this has been my traditional color. It's a red pearl on the bottom and a watermelon with some black flake, red flake in the back. So it's kind of a natural looking thing. I'm just going to show you how I rig them up here. Here's one that I had been using, and it's tore up. I caught a lot of fish on this one, so. But I got a good friend, and he's been doing a lot of switching over to a lot of plastics, and he suggested maybe trying some different colors. So I made some out of our fire craw pattern, which it seems really odd for a frog, I suppose. I mean, you don't see black and red frogs around here ever, but I tell you folks, these have been tremendous. These fish are just tearing them up. I brought several with me. We got them packages and stuff, but this was just an experimental thing, but they've really been working out good for me. But anyhow, I'll show you real quick how I rig them, and it's very simple. If you watched my crawfish, my Lucky Ned craws, how I rigged those, these are very similar. I use a little bit bigger hook. This is a 2.0, so you can see it. It's got an offset in it, and same hook, it's just a little bigger. And what I do is, I'll try to get it here, just go down through, then to the offset, and then just bring that thing, bring the point right up through the back. And if you probably can't see on the video, but if you can see, there's a little bit of a divot there, and that point lays right down in that divot very nicely, and it makes it very, very weed resistant if you're getting a lot of grass, lily pads, brush, even rocks, So that's been working out real good. Now, one other thing I do is I put a little weight in these, and it's a nail weight similar to I use in the Lucky Frogs. These are a 3/64. It's just a little tungsten nail weight, and all I do is just slide that right underneath in the under the. It can be very shallow. I mean, you get that just in there, it's not coming out. And what that does, it just basically keeps the belly down, and it gives it a little bit of a diving, swimming action. And these legs got just tremendous action in the water. So, but yeah, that's just a little how-to on how we fish them. And I mean, I'm out in the kayak here, and what I normally do with these is I just go around the edges, and I just keep throwing right toward the bank. And it doesn't really seem to matter, morning, noon, evening, night, whatever. Those bass are just laying there waiting for something to jump in the water, I guess. But yeah, I stay 30 feet off the bank, and I just cast right to the grass line or brush or whatever. And I tell you, I'm really pleased with these lures. So anyhow, I do have a few on video. I'm not gonna bore you with watching me catch a bunch of little fish, but I've caught some nice ones on these. And just as a side note, I caught my probably the biggest bass in my life on one of these exact frogs here. I don't know, a couple weeks ago, I guess. But it was a tremendous largemouth bass, and so that was an eye-opener to what these are capable of. And like I say, these are only 2 3/4 inches long. We make them an 1 1/4 and 1 3/4, and they're small, and I've used those a lot for crappie and panfish. But this size here, and I mean, we also have them like 3 1/2 and 4, maybe 4 1/4. But anyhow, that's a whole different thing there, I guess. But for a versatile little pond lure right now, this time of year, I don't think these can be beat. So again, like I say, these are just 2 3/4. It's a kicker frog is what we call them, and I use a 2.0 offset hook with a 3/64 tungsten weight in the belly, and I'll do a little video on how they swim and dive and their leg action, and maybe put a couple fish on, you know. But anyhow, I just want to keep it short. So if you're interested in fishing frogs, that's how I do it. So maybe it'll work for you if you want to try it. Maybe it won't. But anyhow, you know, get out and have some fun and see what you can learn. You know, share your stories, share whatever you can. I mean, there's always somebody looking for information. So I appreciate you watching, and I hope everybody has a good day and happy 4th. One more thing I want to touch on here briefly again is I'd mentioned colors of these frogs, you know, the red and black. Lure color is very subjective to, I guess, personal opinion. Everybody has an opinion on it, and it's not even a rabbit hole I'm going to go down. I mean, there's a wealth of information about what colors show up best at different depths of water, you know, with light, you know, and all that. So, and you know, you can read and find all the information you want about what colors fish can see, or, you know, should I use this color lure for murky water, whatever. And everybody's got their opinion on that. But one thing I do want to mention is, if you've seen any of my videos, or even, you know, our Facebook page, whatever, I like to make these laminate, multicolored, you know, double or triple, you know, like this little swim bait, you know, it's like several different colors. And you know, we got the black and red gold frogs. What my opinion on the whole thing is, you know, very few things in nature are all just one color. I mean, nothing is just solid. You're hard pressed to find a rock even that doesn't have various tones and stuff, you know, shades, I guess. So, you know, you look at anything in nature and it's, I guess, camouflage to an extent, but there's always different patterns. So there's different colors, there's different, you know, shading even. So I think that's probably more important than just the actual color, is the variations. They just look more natural, I believe. But one other thing that does, it allows me to do, is we blend our plastic, and you can get it in different durometers, which is I guess the toughness, the pliability of it. But particularly on these frogs, I'll use a softer durometer plastic on the back, which I would do in this black, and then a little harder. I mean, I have a red through the center, and then the gold belly. I use a pretty tough plastic for there, and what that allows me to do is it holds the hook better, makes it more durable. You lose a little bit of pliability, I guess, but the durability is greatly improved. This little guy here, I've caught 8-10 bass on it here today, and you know, the legs are all still on, so I'm happy with how this system's working out. But that's just one thing that allows me to do. And along the same line, you know, a lot of people say, well, you know, fancy lures or multicolored lures, that only catches fishermen, you know. Well, that may be true, you know. And you might have your favorite color. Maybe it's because something you read or somebody told you, or your experience, or maybe your granddad said, you know, to try it. whatever that may be. But I feel what's more important than that is, if you like the lure, if you're comfortable and confident with it, you're going to use it more. And the more you use the lure, you'll learn, you know, what pound, what weight test line I should use, you know, what rod do they work best on, should I let it sink, you know, should I let it float, how long do I wait to set the hook. And you'll learn real quick. The more you use something, the more fish you're going to catch with it, because you're going to learn how to use that lure better. So I guess that's just something I wanted to mention while I'm here, you know. Don't get too hung up on any one thing in particular, you know, just get out, and if you're having fun, you know, if you're catching fish, that's tremendous. But anyhow, it's just something I wanted to mention. So like I say, I'm not getting into the what color lure for what fish. That's all subjective to your own personal opinion and preference. But anyway, thanks again. Take care.